But that takes us to the main event of Big Bill and Ricky Starks against Sting and Darby Allin. Tornado match for the AEW tag titles. Huge reaction for Sting, and he's got his kids in the front row. And man, his two sons.
Can you really call them kids anymore? These are like grown men.
Adults. Yes.
Who look a lot like him. At least his one son looks like.
If Tony Khan wants to continue Sting, one of the sons could just, you could get another 30 years out of this character.
Totally. Sting 2.0. Yeah, I mean the luchadors do it. Why can't Sting?
Stang.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not. They brawl into the crowd right away, and Sting is at home, climbing on top of the balcony, and we get the balcony dive early in the match, and just pops right up, lands. Dude, Big Bill and Ricky Starks. I mean, this was thankfully not a Jericho Takeshita dive. This was they caught him perfectly. It was like no one. If anyone doesn't catch Sting, you're fired. Okay.
Yeah, it's too bad Sting wasn't wearing an Oni mask. That would have hindered his vision here. I was shocked that Sting did this balcony dive. It wasn't even to end. I was shocked because we are so close to Revolution, and any sort of major risk to this man's health that would prevent him from making that match would be unfathomable. Okay. Not only that, this wasn't even a match closing dive. This was a dive to commercial, and this was one of the taller dives Sting has ever done.
Sting, we want a really hot throw to picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Is he doing a 450 at the Greensboro Coliseum?
I'm gonna say
what has Darby taught him? What has Darby taught him? You can do this.
He could probably pull off a coffin drop pretty well.
I've thought of that. That's one move, with the projecting your back for Sting, just knowing that issue and the buckle bomb issue he had. I would actually not want to see him do the coffin drop. I mean,
nor would I want to see him do a dive off the balcony.
Well, at least he sees his landing and he's got people to catch him. Anyway, it's going to be a wild match next month. But anyway, we get back. They make it their way to the ring. Darby Allin goes for his tope suicida, which is already at a pretty incredible rate of speed. But this man, his yin has found his yang in Big Bill, because he dives and right into a giant swinging side slam on the floor that looked incredible.
Incredible. I mean, what do you call this? This was this is he spun like a Beyblade, you wind the thing up and then it was incredible. The best boss man slam I've ever seen.
Bill brings out a table and goes to military press Darby through it, but this is when Sting makes his comeback and stops him. Starks hits a scorpion death drop onto Sting for a 2 count, and then it's Sting with a pair of stinger splashes onto Big Bill, code red onto Big Bill, and then the coffin drop to the floor. Starks doesn't land the drop kick, and Sting is able to take the legs, apply the scorpion death lock, when Bill returns with Darby still on his back, and Darby sends both of them off the apron through the table. Starks gets to the rope, but they explain it's a tornado match, so it doesn't break up the hold, but Sting loses his grip. And then as he goes for another stinger splash, Starks yanks off the turnbuckle pad at the last second, so Sting goes into the buckle, and Starks goes into the corner, but he's torn. Is he going to end Sting right here? And as he is contemplating it, he goes for the spear, hits it. Sting kicks out. This place is going nuts for Sting. Starks goes for a follow-up spear, but this time Sting has him scouted, and he runs right into a scorpion death drop for a massive pop as Sting pins Ricky Starks, and Sting and Darby win the AEW tag titles.
The little moment of hesitation from Starks and maybe, giving us a little bit of a glimpse of the heart that is, within his sort of icy soul was interesting. I mean, does it suggest to you maybe that he's flirting with a babyface turn again?
You could come out of that. You could certainly, man, I'd hate to see them. I enjoy Starks and Big Bill. I think these two, they're such odd figures to imagine having a chemistry as a team, but it's worked. But you do have that you could have Big Bill call out Ricky Starks, like you cost us. You hesitated at the end. And certainly you could take that as, for Starks. It was done for a reason here.
Feels like a very natural feud to follow up this tag title run, which is greatly over exceeded my expectations. Of course, I guess they were supposed to. What was the big thing? I guess they were supposed to face who? Kenny Omega, of course. Yeah, Kenny Omega and Jericho. That didn't end up happening. Right. But I think these two really made the best of their time with these championships, especially Big Bill. Let's talk about W. Morrissey here, who really greatly I think achieved my expectations of him in this role. He feels not just only like a very sort of like I don't know, well-rounded performer at this point, good personality, good charisma, great in ring. He really feels like he's made a very strong comeback, and this tag team I think really cemented, the Big Bill comeback. I was shocked at the level of quality of this match because this was not Sting taking it easy at all. Like, this was him wrestling probably what felt like. Have we seen him wrestle his second last match, would you say?
Maybe they do one title defense. I could see this being the last one before the pay-per-view. They really don't need another match unless you just feel the need for it on TV. Like, I think you'd have to have a reason for it. Yeah, this could have been it.
Let's not risk, any potential injury to this man. He did a lot in this match and has clearly gotten into some of the best shape of his entire run ahead of this Revolution match, because the man was not gassed at the end of this. This went a pretty long time. He was doing a lot of crazy shit and was not just hanging out in the corner waiting for Darby.
And he's looked rough in some recent appearances. This was,
we're talking tornado tag. He didn't have time waiting on the apron. He was active this entire time, running around jumping off of balconies. He killed it here, as did these other three. All of them I thought looked amazing.
Yeah, so they went with the tag title change here on TV, and the kids get into the ring. There's a confetti celebration, and then the Young Bucks attack. They're all in white with their white bats, and sometimes we talk about blood. Can't dispute the fact that it really made this segment, because Darby is bleeding a gusher from his forehead, and all this blood gets smeared onto the white suits of the Young Bucks. It was a phenomenal visual, and they're just beating them down. They go for the BTE trigger, which Excalibur notes he has been told is now the EVP trigger. Tons of heat here, and they just dump the belts on top of Sting and Darby. These Suns had to sell forever because all of the attack was on Sting and Darby, and I think Matt realized it. He finally gave one of them a kick. And one of the Suns is just like looking at one point, and he's like, oh man, we've been down from like a punch for a really long time here. And they just had to lie here for like 5 minutes, but super heated angle. And at the end, Excalibur, what a line to go off the show with. The Young Bucks will never recover from this. Their reputation is destroyed. I thought this angle was awesome. Like, really, I thought easily the strongest thing the Bucks have done since these new characters were introduced. I could certainly go for more of this in the next couple of weeks, and then post Revolution they can get back to all the EVP meta stuff. But this was really great angle to build it. Like, this felt like the main event of a pay-per-view type of angle, and now you have the tag titles involved.
It was a good, bloody, violent angle to offset some of the campiness we've seen out of the Bucks with this particular gimmick. And you're right, I think they need to continue in this direction to make this feel like it's the level of serious war that it needs to be for Sting's final match. Great match though, and part of, I think, the this entire sort of a final run for Sting was me expecting a lot more of Ric Flair, who I don't feel like we've seen in quite a while. Do you think that he pops back up?
It's a good question. Like, he has been absent for a long time, and it's not as though like they were plugging the Woo Energy stuff on the show as well.
They were, like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was like the sponsor of the first match. So it's not like that is not incorporated into all of this. I can't imagine he's not going to be there for the Greensboro show. And I would think at the very least, they're going to have him do some promo on one of these TVs over the next few weeks. Because I think that's what you should be relying on. The next few weeks should be about Sting's history and contemplate, can I do this against the Young Bucks? And after this beatdown, like, it should be more on the build up, focusing on the match. I don't think you need to have these two wrestle, but you are still selling tickets and stuff, and maybe they squeeze in one more with Sting and Darby.